Hello, beautiful people. Okay, well, I read this, y'all. You know, leaders are readers, and I believe that reading helps us grow, and I like to do kind of a combo of stuff that's for my spiritual health, for my mental health, just for fun, and I am in a book club of some really high-thinking, elevated women, and I'm so privileged. And it's not just the reading, it's the conversation that's so juicy sometimes, right, that happens after the fact. So I'm about to share a story with you. I'm actually going to share two, but just one today, from this book, The Best Yes by Lisa TerKeurst. Now, as you can tell, this is not my first time in reading this book, and it has served as a great mentor to me prior to doing it as a part of a book club. So I'm a person, I don't know if any of y'all can relate to this. I, as a recovering people pleaser, when faced with decisions, really want to make the best decision. Well, that can often turn into some indecision, some, what do they call it? Analysis paralysis, right? Where you paralyze yourself trying to weigh the pros, the cons, all the things. And of course, I recognize the importance of decisions because it's not just a decision, right? It begins to lead us down a path. And I thought this story illustrated that so beautifully in a humorous way. And another little tip for you, I actually worked with a business coach at one time, and he was a former pastor for 28 years. And one of the things he taught me was when I had a decision to make that felt big to me, it might not have been big to you, but it might have felt big to me, to give myself a deadline. So in 48 hours, so by Wednesday night at 7 p.m., I will have made a decision and let the world know. And that's that. We're not going to go there anymore. We'll move on to the next thing. So that can be a little tip for you. But this book, The Best Yes, because really you can always say yes, you can say no, or you can stop and really consider, given my hopes and dreams, the vision God's placed in my heart, the things I'm already responsible for, is this the best yes for the direction I want my life to continue to go in? Now, it's especially funny if you're like me and you've been multiple sizes in your life. I have a sweet tooth and I love chips and queso. And so I now know that after the fifth chip, they all taste the same. However, in my former life, I really thought 15 or 20 or 25 was, optimal. Each one loaded with queso. So let's see if any of you can relate to this particular story. So first, the facts, right? Our decisions are not just isolated choices. They point our lives in a direction that we are about to head, hence the importance of thinking through them. Show me a decision, and I'll show you a direction. This isn't just a message for high schoolers who have their whole lives ahead of them. It's for each one of us. With any part of our lives, that we've got to get good at chasing down our best decisions and see where they will take us before we actually make them. I really thought of this as kind of like under a counting the cost overarching umbrella. If I can stop and give myself time to think it through, maybe do a pros and cons list, and if this is the path I go down, what will it lead me to do or want to do more of? And will that create the end result I'm hoping for? So this is her funny story that I personally could so relate to. Let's see, how does she start it? The other day, one of my girlfriends asked if I wanted to try her caramel crunch latte. Love something fancy with whip on top. Yes, please. I would like that very much. But I didn't. Why? Because I know myself very well. I will enjoy that sugary treat. Then I will begin to crave more sugary delights. I will not just want one sip. I will want a whole one for my very own self. And then I will want a whole one for my very own self several times a week. Anybody, are you with me yet? So let me chase down this decision with you. I did a little research and found that particular drink that I knew already I would love has 560 calories. If I get in the habit of having just 3 of those per week for the next year, and I change nothing about my current eating or exercise program, I will take in an additional 87,360 calories. 3,500 calories equals 1 pound of fat. So give or take how my body chemistry may process all this, according to math alone, I'm setting myself up to gain about 25 pounds during this next year off that one decision. When I chase down that decision, I refuse to take a sip of a drink exactly like that. People laugh at me sometimes when I tell them my process of making decisions like this and say, oh God, you're just a disciplined person. Not really. Did you catch the part about how a sip for me would lead to me enjoying this particular treat 3 times a week? I am not disciplined. I'm determined to not go places I don't want to go simply because I didn't take the time to honestly evaluate what it might cost me in the end. I have felt the heavy weight of regret, and I do not want to return to that land. Boy, how many of us can relate to that? One of my mentors used to say, let's see, how did she say it? The cost of discipline is so much less expensive than the cost of regret. Word, right? That's one to write down on a sticky note and post on your mirror. So I don't know. What about you? I'm dying to hear. This would be like a great coffee chat, but we could use all of the lower calorie situations together, or just have a cup of tea and really keep it sweet and simple. What about you? Do you find it easy to make decisions? How do you process? Do you have a process? Are you one that is just like our author here, Lisa TerKeurst, and hasn't really, counted the cost and then found yourself in a situation that you wished you had thought through a few more months prior to that? I know I have for sure. And it can be such a helpful discipline. We want to be wise, right? We want to live a life filled with memories and steps taken in the direction of our dreams, not steps taken down a different path that we look over the shoulder and say, oh, I sure wish I had. We want to be ones that say, I'm so glad I did. So, Prayers for Wise Choices this week. It's a great book. If you need a good read, The Best Yes. And like I said, I'll be sharing another story from it in a bit as well. Y'all make it a great day. Thanks for tuning in. And if this was a blessing to you, like, share, subscribe, do the things. I'll see you right back here next time.